Hey guys, Marsningan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so the topic of today's video, as I'm sure you saw from the title and the thumbnail, is the Red Dokkan Festival coins and how I think you should spend them, or at least save them, which probably gives a little bit of it away, but I want you guys to hear me out on my reasonings. I've never really made a video like this, and I've been getting a lot of questions recently because of the release of the Gogeta banner on Global, which you can see up on the screen here now. The return of the Tech Gohan was a big W for Global. It massively increased the value of this banner. Gogeta and Gohan are two of the top tier, like best TURs in the game, so them both being on a banner makes the banner very worth. And of course, this is Gohan's first return on Global, which means he is available in the coin shop. So that's what sparked off some of this questioning. A lot of people, both in the initial stream when we were even summoning for Gogeta once the banner went live, and even in some of my recent videos, there's been comments asking me whether I think that you should buy Gohan with the red coins. So this is something I wanted to make a video for. Basically, it's just for Global, but the kind of mindset that you can apply to what I'm saying does travel across both versions. It's obviously just a little bit harder with JP. We don't know specifically when units are going to come back, but some of the things that I'm going to say definitely will hold true across both versions. So just to start us off with, obviously this is the banner that dropped, so all of these units underneath the Gogeta and Nova, these first bunch of units here are all currently available with red coins. Go Bros will be 500, Gohan and the other normal TURs 400. Out of everyone on this list, Gohan is probably the only one I would suggest buying. Maybe the Go Bros if you have no copies of them. I really like the Go Bros. I still think they're a top tier LR. Well, I say top tier. I don't know if they're even in the top 10 anymore on like most people's tier lists, but I really like them. But that's like a personal preference. I know they're not the best card in the game or anything like that. And then Gohan, obviously, like I said, is in the running of top 3 TURs. But I want to explain my philosophy. I've tweeted this before. I've mentioned it in videos and in comment sections. But usually, most of the time, my recommendation is that you should save your red coins for Dokkan Fest LRs. Obviously it means like an extra 10 multis on a banner, because the difference is 400 and then 500 for an LR. But Dokkan Fest LRs usually are the best units in the game. It makes sense to save for them because they are just so powerful, and obviously there is often, for some of them, quite a distance between when they drop on banners. Like for example on JP, the physical Blue Goku and Vegeta, as far as I'm aware, has not returned on a banner. Which means if you didn't pull them from their original banner, which is very likely because it was a typical sort of legendary banner setup, you won't have even had the opportunity to get them. So once they come back, possibly snapping them up for 500 coins is a good idea because they're a very powerful unit and they don't come back very often. Now, saying that, there are a couple of exceptions that I would make to this. Usually if you have no copies, I'm also a very strong believer in, even with like Dokkan Fest LRs and stuff, I'm a very strong believer of once you get to 2 dupes, so the unit is 79%, I personally don't buy copies of that unit after that, because it feels almost like the RNG is going to be against you. Like, I bought 2 copies of the Go Bros. They were the first units I ever spent my red coins on to get them to 79% from no dupes. And then the next banner they came back on, I pulled like 4 copies of them. Basically making it so that the first 2 red coin purchases I ever made were essentially pointless. Now, obviously it means I had those 2 dupes in them for like the couple of months until that next banner came out. So I definitely got use out of those dupes. But it's very annoying when that happens. So I would say if you have a unit at 2 dupes or even at 3, like if you have a unit at 90%, do not buy that last copy with your red coins, because you can almost guarantee that when they come back on a banner, you're going to pull a copy of them and then it will have been a waste. And obviously red coins, if you're a massive whale, they're easy to come by large amounts. But for people who don't spend as much, or especially are free to play, you need to be very careful with how you spend your coins. So Outside of Dokkan Fest LRs, I think that there are a couple of exceptions. So first is going to be Gogeta himself. Now obviously for both versions of the game he has not returned yet, so this one we don't really need to spend a lot of time on, but now I think even still on JP, and obviously now for Global because he's brand new, he's still basically considered the best TUR in the game. So I mean, you know, it's kind of worth, like, he's better than some LRs, so there's not really a huge amount we need to say about this guy. But Gohan is the big unit in question because he has just returned on Global, and this is what has spawned a lot of the questions and basically led to the creation of this video. So Gohan, I do think, is one of the units that I would say is worth using coins on, depending on how many you have. He can be the difference between, like, if you don't have him at all, he can be the difference between you being able to beat the Super Tech Extreme Super Battle Road or not. His team was the one that I did the no items run with. He's an incredibly good unit. Obviously, he's really, really good in long form events. But even in Super Battle Road, he's very, very effective. His links aren't the best, but he's on a lot of really good teams that usually offer a lot of really good support. And so obviously he is a top tier unit. Like, most people consider him in the top 3 or at least top 5 TURs in the game, unless you're Sora. So then we have Cooler. Cooler was kind of the king until Gohan came around and the debates first began, but Cooler is still arguably one of the top 5 TURs in the game, not just because of how good he is by himself, but the fact that his team, especially the transformation boost side, is an incredibly versatile and powerful team, which this Cooler can lead and then just float in the 3rd spot and provide support to, and you never have to transform. And in most events where you're only fighting one enemy, he's just going to be giving everyone 2 key and 30% attack and defense, so that's really good. And so yeah, he is a top tier unit. I think I might have bought a copy to get mine to 79%, and then of course in the long run I have now pulled copies of him that I don't need, but it was quite a while till he came back for us, so I thought that was a decent enough investment. And then the last one I thought I would mention is the Angel Freezer. Again, he's new for, I don't think he's been back on JP yet, because I don't think he's on the anniversary banners. But again, he's a unit that people consider easily top 3, potentially even in contention for number 1. And yeah, so these kind of units, the ones that are basically like the best non-LRs in the game, are the only ones that I would recommend that you use coins on. But the big thing about this video, the whole point of me making it, I guess, and what the title is really aimed around, is what I think you should be saving your coins for. Now, obviously, if you're somebody who is missing Gohan, I can definitely see the argument for picking up a copy of him. But as I said, a lot of this depends on how many coins you have and how much you spend. Like, if you only have 400 coins right now, and you're mostly free to play or completely free to play, you're probably not going to have enough coins for what I think is the real, like, true goal now for people on Global. I would say for like 90% of the players. Like I said, if you're a whale, you know, summon all you want, spend your coins however you want. But here are the anniversary banners for JP. Currently live at the moment on the JP version. So this is the Ultra Instinct Goku banner. Obviously it has the 2 new units, but then it features Bootanks, Gohan, and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And then the Vegeta banner obviously has its 2 new characters, and then it features the Goku and Vegeta, or Super Vegito, the Cell, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. So if we flick over to the JP view, so here we are on my JP. Obviously my JP is kind of my free-to-play side account, so as you can see I don't have a lot of red coins on here, but currently available in the shop. So this is going to be the same for Global, because the anniversary banners never change. As soon as the anniversary banners go live on Global, this is what the red coin shop is going to look like. And as you can see, the first 6 units are Dokkan Fest LRs. Now obviously the fusions aren't here, the 5-year and the 3-year LRs, but these are some of the best LRs in the game. Like Bootanks and STR Goku and Vegeta, it can easily be argued are like 2 of the best units in the game. A lot of people have the STR Goku and Vegeta at number 1. on global with the small amount that I've played with them, both at 55%, I would say I do like Bootanks a little bit more, just because of I like his team and the things that he provides in like the longer form events. But I mean, you can't deny the sheer devastating power that the Goku and Vegeta have, especially once they've fused. You get to see super attacks, you get counters. They're not as tanky once they've transformed, but seeing super attacks is super useful, and then obviously the amount of damage that they put out is absolutely ridiculous. And then of course Gohan and Cell. Now these guys are a little bit older now, but I've spoken about Gohan, especially recently in videos where we've used him. Gohan I still think is really good. I only have one dupe in mine, and on his own team, like the Kamehameha lead, in his Super Saiyan 1 form, because obviously a lot of people don't like the fact it's really hard to get him to transform, but in his Super Saiyan 1 form at like 69%, he's able to hit some pretty ridiculous numbers in terms of attack, and then in long form events, you get to the point where like even super attacks just do double-digit damage to him. So he is still really, really good. Cell is still very good. He's underrated, I think, quite a bit. But when it comes to Super Battle Road, any Super Battle Road stage that you can run this guy on, you should probably try and work your team around having him. Because dropping down below 30% HP and then getting a full heal is just an absolute cheat card for Super Battle Road. Like, his team is how I know items the Extreme in Extreme Super Battle Road on the first try. You guys will probably remember if you were around the channel then, I wanted to do all the runs normally and then do the no item runs afterwards, but the cells just went off and transformed in like every fight, and it just made it super, super easy. So I do feel like he's underrated still a little bit, but for certain things he's really, really useful. And then we have the two Super Saiyan 4s. So people meme about them a lot. Like, I know Talon and I think Nolar complain when they come back on banners, but they are both still really good. And obviously with the release of Gogeta now on Global, if you were able to pull him, they're really, really good on his team. Like, my Goku is 90%. And in some of the videos we've done recently with the Gogeta Giant 8 Power Team, he's been hitting attack stats of like 5 million. So he's definitely no slouch. And Vegeta, not as good offensively, but really good defensively. You do have to get his 18 key super, but then once you have, even in Super Battle Road with like type disadvantage, he takes double-digit damage from attacks. So the Super Saiyan 4s, whilst they are a little bit older now, they are both really, really good. Gogeta's team obviously gives them sort of a new lease of life, and so they are both very worth as well. So the main point of this video, whilst I do think there are a couple of TURs that could be worth your coin usage, for most players, I would say save your red coins for the anniversary. It's very unlikely that Gogeta will come back on a banner before the anniversary. Now, on Global, the first Dokkan Fest after JP's anniversary, we normally get that just before the anniversary. So if on that banner on JP Gogeta returns, this could potentially change, which would mean Gogeta would be returning right before the anniversary for Global. I could almost see them doing that just because they know it's like a bait for people to both summon on the banners and or use their coins. So I could kind of see them doing that. But then, of course, you got to remember the other TURs are on here as well. Now, as you can see, Kaioken Goku, Kefla, Beerus hit the Super Saiyan 2 transforming Goku and Vegeta, and then the old UI Goku, SSBE, Frieza, and 17. I didn't mention any of these guys at the start because I wouldn't put them in that list of units that are worth getting with coins. As much as I love these two units, like, again, I don't think they're quite worth as much as saving up for a little bit extra for a Dokkan Fest LR. Obviously, Hit is definitely not. Beerus is up there with the top TURs. Kefla is fun but annoying because you have to get 6 orbs to fully maximize her utility. And then Blue Kaioken Goku. Now, obviously, as much as people love to talk smack, that you either love him or you hate him. He's really great. The Spirit Bomb is the most powerful thing in the game when you can get it off. One thing to bear in mind though is if you go into the anniversary banners and you do pretty well with the new LRs, both of them are on this Goku's team. So if you somehow manage to pull both the new LRs and you still don't have a copy of this guy, then he might be worth getting because he is probably the best reps of Universe 7 lead to then run those 2 LRs with. But he's, again, not super necessary. So this anniversary, when it drops, this is like the ultimate red coin like spending spree. I currently have, I think, 1,400 red coins on Global. and I do not intend to spend a single one until we get to this anniversary. Now, bear in mind, I think it should be important to mention, hopefully this would be common sense for some people, but make sure you summon first. Right? It might seem obvious, but you don't want to, like, say the anniversary banners drop and you go straight in and buy like a copy of Bootanks and then Vegito, say you have 1,000 red coins, and then you jump on the banners and maybe you don't get so lucky with UI Goku and SSBE, but you end up pulling like 4 or 5 copies of these guys. Then obviously you've wasted your coins. Or even if you pull like 3 copies, so you'd have them at 79%, you now have them at 90%, but those coins could have maybe been spent on one of these other guys that you either had no dupes or like 1 dupe. So it might seem obvious to a lot of people, but make sure you summon before you spend your coins. So, but there you go. Those are my thoughts on red coins. For people on global, save until the anniversary. The only exception is obviously right now, if you're somebody who doesn't have Gohan and you have enough coins to, say, maybe pick one up and then still have enough like to get to 500 by the time the anniversary, because the anniversary is like over 4 months away for global. So depending on how much you summon, if you think you can get back up to 500 red coins, then maybe it is worth it for you to buy a copy of Gohan, because he is super useful. But in most cases, I would say save for the anniversary. So let me know what you guys think. How many red coins do you have? Have you experienced that same thing where you buy a unit and then you pull a bunch of other copies of them? Let me know what your plans are for your coins down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the link to my Discord and my merch, all in the description. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.